babies, y'all. I'm back in this kitchen. In my little kitchen. I went to Kroger's today and I had an idea because again my cream cheese is starting to come together. So I had the wonderful idea of making a sun-dried tomato cream cheese. So at the store, bought these California sun-dried tomatoes. This was $3 for this little pack. And so I went ahead and got it, and then I got home and started putting things up in my fridge, and I realized I have some tomatoes that are kind of going bad. They're not bad yet. I can use these to make my own sun-dried tomatoes. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I looked up online. There's an option of doing these in the oven or doing them in the air fryer. I have both. It takes 50 minutes to do it in the air fryer and about 7 hours to do it in the oven. So guess which route I'm going to try today. I'm going to try to do this in my air fryer. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cleaned, get them cut up, and we can start the preparation right now. Okay, so my tomatoes are nice and scrubbed, nice and clean. I actually used one of these tomatoes in a dish a couple weeks ago, and that's how I know I need to go ahead and use these. It's been a couple weeks in my fridge. And I used some of the seeds I put it in one of the solo red cups, and it's sprouting up beautifully. It's about time for me to go in and start separating them out into individual pots. But I'm going to use these today for my sun-dried tomatoes. And I'm going to cut these open, and then I'm going to press out all of the seeds. There we go, so we have it nice and empty. Set that over there. I'm going to leave on all the fleshy parts and just get out the seeds. I saw somebody do this with cherry tomatoes. A lot of recipes online recommend using RHOA tomatoes just because of the size and their fleshy as well. This is a lot of flesh. Once these are dried completely, I'll slice them up, probably julienne them into strips, and then I will preserve them. And again, this is just something you can do with your vegetables that are starting to go bad. This one I may cut and chop. These are a little bigger. Because I think I may have cut into the bottom of that inadvertently. This was some of it's coming out onto the cutting board. Or I could just be messy. One of the two. To think about it. Just make it easier. I'm gonna set it later on. spice them up. Might dry a little quicker too. We'll see. Might not do anything. Didn't mean to do that, but broke off. I'm gonna get all of these seeds and this out because that's all the moisture. I'm gonna eat this piece real quick. I love tomatoes. Anyone who knows me knows that. I love tomatoes. My daughter can't stand them, but I love them. All right, I think that's it for that. What do we have next? Let's clean up real quick. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so that was a total mess. I'm glad I did that off camera. I did cut into the bottom of that container, and as soon as I went to move them, the container, yeah, the seeds went splat all over the floor. So, I'm going to crush up some garlic. And some recipes don't call for you to use fresh garlic, and I'm so close to cutting my fingers off. I'm not a pro. Please don't do this at home. I actually have a garlic press. I just don't feel like I'm going to get it. And this is just how I've been doing it all my life. So it's like, why stop now? But yeah. Those seeds went splat all on the floor. And what was I saying? The recipes, some recipes don't call for many seasonings online. Maybe just some herbs and salt. But there was one, like I told you, the one with the cherry tomatoes. She used a whole host of seasonings and garlic, and that's what I'm going to try today because I love all of these things. Look at that. And of course, I'm doing a lot of garlic. And this garlic, once it's roasted with dried out with the tomatoes, will go into the preserving oil to preserve these later on. Like these are dried. I like the ones that are preserved in oil, and so that's what I'm going to do for mine, in olive oil once I'm done. And I'm not going to chop these up too fine because, again, like I said, I want to be able to get these onto the actual, in the oil. And it's already going to be an issue in the air fryer, which I'm going to have to get some parchment paper and put some holes in so that I don't lose all of them. Right, so now it's time to season our tomatoes. I'm going to sprinkle with some iodized salt, and I keep my iodized salt and my non-iodized salt separate because I don't want to get confused when I'm making my cheese. Because I realized that that's part of the problem why my curds weren't setting with my cheese early on. That right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Well, I guess I should put the herbs on first. But this is done, so I'm going to let this be. And I'm going to put on some of the other herbs first. I don't have any fresh herbs. And Kroger did not have any in stock, so I will be using basil. And I do get the cheap stuff. Sometimes I get a chance to get to a Fiesta, and they normally have a lot of nice spices, but I was not able to get those from there. And everybody's running out of basil recently. I've tried several different places looking for, and this is rosemary, looking for basil, and there's like nothing in stock. A little parsley. Oh, and it's not open. bad. You can tell us it's not. How do they make these containers so hard to open nowadays? I mean, some of us are challenged. Hello. And I'm going to actually, because I was expecting, I'm glad I looked at that. I've been known to open up a seasoning container and dump everything out because it doesn't have the little holes. It has one big hole. And last but not least, time. Yeah, and I'll be using these, probably not this batch. Well, maybe this batch. I'll see how they come out with my cream cheese. Or may just stick to rehydrating some of these and put them in there. I'll see how these turn out. So now all of my, this is done. I'm going to drizzle with a little bit of olive oil and see if I can maybe massage some of this in. Before I put them in the air fryer. Just drizzle a little. That's it. And I had some truffle oil that I was thinking of using, but I don't know how that, with all of these other flavors, is going to work. I don't want to do too much because I have been guilty of doing too much. So this is going to be it. Now let me get the parchment paper and then we can move on over to the air fryer and get these guys going. Hold on. Okay, now we're over at the air fryer and I put in a piece of parchment paper that I've cut slits into because I do want to reserve my garlic. I've done this in the past with a couple of other recipes and it's worked fine. I'm praying it'll work for this one as well. So I'm going to lay these in, skins down. I'll check on them in probably about 20 minutes, 20-30 minutes and see if I need to remove the parchment paper or if they're drying pretty good on their own. Here, and this is my handy dandy air fryer. Had it for about 3 or 4 years now. It's about time to get a new one because we put this thing through the ringer. We do a lot in the air fryer around here. Catrice loves it. She cooks hot dogs, corn dogs, egg toast, all kinds of stuff. In the air fryer. So I've got all that in there. I'm going to sprinkle out this garlic and I'm trying to pick up as much as these herbs and oil and get it all in here. Okay, there we go. That's everything. So now I'm going to put this in. Let me rinse my hand off because I'm freezing. Don't need to be crazy up in her. Alright. Come on. I told you this thing is old. Okay. So now we're going to take the tip. We're going to take this up, the timing up to 50 minutes. Oh, shit. I forget this thing. Okay, so I'm going to have to come back in 30 minutes and check on it rather than 20. And I'm going to take the temp down to 50. And we're going to start. So 30 minutes I will be back and we will check this out and see where we are with how it's drying and to make sure that it is drying and that whether or not I'll need to take out that parchment paper. Be back in a minute. I just thought about it while that's cooking. I think I'm going to heat up some of these preserved potatoes that I had put in the refrigerator about a week and a half ago. Eat that as a snack. See you in a bit. Okay, so I just checked on these and I cut a little bit of the parchment paper off because it was curling up anyway. So it looks like we're getting there. We're getting a little drying action going on. And it smells amazing. That garlic is just, ooh. All right, we're going to let this last 8 to 10 minutes off, round off, and then I will put it in for the last, I'll probably do 30 minutes just to make sure I have time. Taste that? Okay. We're about to start the second batch. It's still very moist. It's not the second batch, but the second round. And I need to change the tap and the time. And I'm just realizing that the recipe that I used was for cherry tomato, so it may take a little bit longer, but either way, an hour, 2 hours is better than, excuse my TV, I forgot to mute it, better than 7 hours. Be right back. Just as an update, do y'all remember these? Yeah, the spores were growing pretty good, but something else got in there, so I don't even trust it. I'm not growing whatever that is. I'm throwing it away. Same here. The chunks of mushroom that I put in were entirely too big, and yeah, some other stuff kind of grew along with it. So again, failed project. Back to the drawing board. I actually ordered some mushroom spawn that hasn't come yet from Canada. So I'm going to try to grow it directly from the spawn versus trying to make my own spawn. So yeah, back to the drawing board on that. Alright, we got 5 minutes. Ooh, it's still a little soft. I'm going to probably flip these. And we'll get another 10-15 minutes on the other side. Because they're drying out good on the top, but the bottom not so much. Okay. Oh, that coffee smells so good though. Might want to hold this so it don't slide away from me. Because that would be a tragedy. If this thing hit the floor, oh wee! This smells extremely good though. Come on. You can see like they're almost there, but there's still, those middle pieces still have quite a bit of fluid going on. Don't want to mush them. I'm trying not to mush them. Because they're delicate. Delicate little flowers. Alright, last one. Alright. So I'm going to let this last 5 minutes to whatever this is run out, and then I'm going to sit it in for another 20. And y'all know I had to eat the residuals off the tongs. That's going to be so, oh my gosh, that's so good. I'm going to have to use those for the cream cheese versus the pack that I bought from Kroger. I might have to take it back. Because those jokers are gooder than gooder. Gooder and gooder. Gooder. You know what I mean. Alright. I'm going to set that in. Let this a little bit of time elapse. Then I'm going to come back and put it on for about 20 more. And then hopefully they'll be done. Peace. Okay, we back. I had to go and set that to the side. It's my Gatorade from Taco Bell. I had to go and taste test them celery sticks, and pickled celery sticks. But let's check. I really just flipped these, so I know they're not done. But I'm going to go ahead and put them on for about 20-30 more minutes. Let's do 30. I can check them in 20. And just so you know, this does go higher than 30. But I don't feel like finding a book to figure it out. A lot of the functionality of this thing, I don't do. Alright, another 20. Be back. Okay, so I don't know what happened. I think I may have shaken the bottom of the the container too hard when I put it in the last time, because when I opened it up to check, all of the tomatoes had slid forward and the parchment paper was up on the other end. So I've taken them off the parchment paper. I've kind of pulled off some of the garlic and stuff that stuck to the parchment paper, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish these. The rest of the way. Yeah, that happened. Okay, I think I've done enough. I kind of forgot about my daggone tomatoes. Hold on. Okay, I had to go get the tongs in the bowl. So they're not completely dry, but they're cooked. And this one's done. This one's done. There's still a little bit. I can't tell if it's dry or if it's just oily. Because a lot of these, this one's done. And I think I might be just overreacting. And it's the herbs. That's dry though. That have turned dark. That's not dry. That is dry. I'm trying to burn my hand. That needs a little bit longer. Okay, so some of these that are smaller, I'm gonna pull out because they're like, this is crispy. That's crispy. Smaller pieces I'm gonna pull out and let them cool. And I will finish on with the rest. Because not all of these are done quite. Space them out a little bit so that they all have plenty of room to dry. That one's kind of crispy. Again, I think that might just be oily, but it feels a little soft. So I only got a couple more minutes anyway. And then I'll close them out. So this is what those tomatoes so far have reduced down to. That's the garlic I pulled out earlier in the herbs. So when the rest of this comes out, I'm gonna slice them up a little smaller and then preserve them in some oil. Be right back. Okay, so while the last of those other tomatoes are finishing up, those are the larger ones. I'm gonna chop up some of these smaller pieces before I place them in the oil to preserve them. Look at all of that garlicky goodness, y'all. Look, it's not a lot, and I think there's some at the bottom of the air fryer that I'm gonna pull out. So this is going to be this, and I did a taste test. I tasted the store-bought ones versus the ones I just made, and these are amazing. So much flavor. You just can't beat that. I will probably never buy sun-dried tomatoes again. More than likely. It'd have to be like an emergency where I didn't have anything on hand and didn't have time to do this. Put these back in. When the last couple come out, I'm going to add them, and I may add just a little bit of this truffle oil. I added some of this to those potatoes I made in another recipe, and it was so good. They were so good, so aromatic. And I'm just, look at this. I'm loving this. This was what, 5 or 6 tomatoes? It's not a lot, but with the flavor that's in there, you really don't need a whole lot. And once I get the oil in, and it's going to infuse the oil, and after a while, it's just going to be amazing. I'm happy. Let me go check on these other tomatoes. Hopefully they'll be done, and then I'll bring them over and we can chop them up and get them all in. Okay, so I have the rest of the tomatoes out of the air fryer, and I actually picked out some of the garlic that fell to the bottom through the grates. And of course I had an epiphany in the middle of doing all of this. Next time I think I will just crush the garlic and not just like smash it, but not crush it up, and let it roast that way. And that way it should be easier for me to retrieve it. And also, yeah, I may put a couple just sliced or whole bulbs in there just to get some of the same roasted flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and chop these up like I did the others. Still a little hot. Guess I could have let these cool down a little. Still have a little fluid, those bigger pieces, but the edges are like super crispy. And it's not going to really matter because once I put it in the oil, it's going to just preserve it. Those little pieces in there, all my herbs. Oh, shit. Y'all forgot I had a delivery coming through. A grocery delivery. I had to go open the gate. I have to let them in. I'm going to hit and chop up this last little bit. Alright. There you have it. My oven dried tomatoes, my air fryer dried tomatoes. Look at that. And I've already tasted it. It's amazing. I'm going to add a little bit. I've got the seasoning. This is a little cheapo seasoning that I get from Dollar Tree, but it's actually really good. So I'm going to sprinkle just a little, just to give it a little bit more salty. I think I'm gonna hold off on the truffle. I do not want to ruin the flavor of this wonderful tomato. And you're gonna pour just enough oil to cover it completely. This is my favorite oil. One of the doctors at the hospital I work at, this is from her family. Notice their family olive oil company, and she gives us bottles every year, and I just absolutely love it. So there you have it. Those are my sun-dried tomatoes, my homemade. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these, because I'm probably going to use these for my cream cheese. What I may do is use some of these and then just supplement with those to fill it out. But that's it. I'm actually about to go and get my delivery, and then check on my cream cheese. I will see you later. Bye.